Should we get straight into our preview, or should we do this as a second show?
Absolutely.
What do you want to
Let's
do?
do that.
It'll be a second show on YouTube, but if you're listening on Spotify, we'll just get straight into this. Round
Absolutely.
20 kicks off Thursday night with the Knights hosting the Tigers. Bradman Best has been named to back up on the 2
I
days.
think just about everybody has.
Yes, I believe so. And I don't think there's too many
get to that.
doubts. We'll get to all that as we go. No changes for the Knights from last week. For the Tigers, they will welcome back Alex Twal on the bench, and Api Coruscant starts at 9, back a couple of weeks early. Talon De Silva and drops off, and Asatasi James goes back to the reserves. I'll let you have first crack at this while I go and find my late mail thing.
Yeah, right. Well, big in obviously with Appy. Should provide if they go back, because just before he got injured, obviously they were starting to really structure their play in around in the middle of the field, and it was reaping benefits for the Tigers there just before he did get injured. So that should provide another opportunity to at least create opportunities for the Tigers team. Whether they can cash in on them is a different story. It's the story of the Tigers season, realistically. I think this is a 50-50 game, to be honest. I think this is a game where Tigers can be quite dominant in the middle of the field and cause Newcastle a lot of problems in that middle third, as they like to call it, of the field. But I think Newcastle probably have a few more creative options once the ball gets out past those middle forwards, and I just expect Newcastle to probably score one or two more tries than the Tigers can find in this match. So I am, as I said, giving the Tigers a good 50-50 crack at it, and wouldn't be surprised if it goes that way. But I'm going to tip Newcastle 1-12, Ponga man of the match, and Greg Marzu first try scorer.
Yeah, I agree with everything you said. I think that could almost dominate the forward battle again. My biggest concern has become the edge defence of the Tigers. I think Kapoa on a wing still very concerning, and the fact Pong has found such great form in the last month, I think he might expose a couple of those outside backs. So I'm going to give him man of the match. I'm going to say 1-12 Knights, but I'm optimistic as I can be here. First try scorer Dom Young. He's had a bit of a mini drought, so back amongst the scorers there. Mm-hmm. Saturday kicks off. We've got the triple treat both days of the weekend. Kicks off with the Bulldogs and the Broncos at Belmore. Adokar is actually the only one in doubt. He left early with the hamstring. I imagine they probably don't risk him. So Alamote,
you wouldn't think so.
Or Burns will
Skelton maybe would come into the side.
So we've got Skelton. Just looking who's on the extended bench. Skelton or Alamote will come back into either into the starting side or onto the bench. The rest is the same team that beat South last week, Brisbane. You got no Corey outs now, and I would suggest that Dean Mariner or probably Jordan Pereira actually comes onto the bench there, onto the field there.
I would think. Yep.
Kurt Capel's back, and Patrick Carrigan spent a fair bit of time on the bench for him last night, so he is in the extended reserves now, but he might even start off the bench again here. Palacia, Jensen, Capel, Piakora, and Hetherington, a different looking forward pack for Brisbane. Jesse Arthurs, Tapau, and Willison, the other bench players. Interesting test of Brisbane's depth. They've scraped through so far. I should also mention Tristan Saylor's playing fullback. What are they doing
again?
here?
I do like Tristan at fullback. Be interesting to see how he goes back there. I've got question marks around this game, to be honest. You look at the two emblems when it comes up on your footy tips, and you just would automatically go to the Broncos. But this is actually one of the first games I've thought for a while where the Bulldogs could have a slight edge in the forward pack.
Wow, yeah, you're not wrong.
I know it's funny to say, and you're going to think it's a bit of a strange one, but the likes of Vitala Mariner, Max King could do a job over the direct opposition. Topine had some raps on him 12 months ago, but he's been a bit in the background for a while. Jacob Preston's as good as any forward on the field here. Tavita Pangai depends what kind of mood he turns up in. Could be an X factor off the bench. So the way they played last week, the control that they showed in their halves and opportunities they were able to create, albeit against a very undermanned South Sydney team, leads me to think that they may be able to score a few tries here. And if they get to the 3 or 4 try mark, it might be enough to really worry this Broncos team. But I'm going to stick with the Broncos. I think they've just got too much strike in those outside backs. Ezra Mam and Reynolds should create enough opportunities to get them home with a 1-12 win. I'm going to go with Ezra Mam as man of the match. I think once this forward pack does get tired and they get into their reserve guys, he could really start causing some problems on the edges there. And I'll go with Selwyn Colbe first try scorer.
I'm very tempted. As you know, I tipped them last week to beat Souths, and I'm thinking about it again. I think if Brisbane loses there, I dare say I'm going to call panic stations at the Broncos because they're still without some personnel for a few weeks. And if they drop this and drop 2 or 3 in a row on the back of what happened last year, there might be some very nervous people north of the border. I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt and say that both the calmness of Reynolds and the experience of the outside backs there and ability to one-on-one be brilliant in terms of your Farnworth, Staggs and Cobbo can produce just enough points. But I think it could be a last try wins game, sort of 30 to 26 or something like that. First try scorer, I'm going to go with Cobbo, and man of the match, Adam Reynolds. He's not really been stamping himself in the last month, but in a game like this, missing all the key allies, it has to be on him to get them around the park, and I think he does it. But I could easily see the half combination that Bulldogs now have and Matt Burton getting plenty of space, being very dangerous here, particularly the speed they now have out wide. So, interesting game. Seagulls
Absolutely.
and the Cowboys at Four Pines Park. DCE and Jake both named and will be watched coming out of Origin. Jake Arthur's on the extended bench as cover. We've also got Dean Madison on the bench there, making his first grade debut, I believe. Woods, Bullimore, Alloway all on the bench too. For the Cowboys, Holmes, Tuolangi and Nanai all been named. And Kyle Felt's on standby for the outside backs there. Jason Tamalolo is on the bench, but may well start to let Cotter come off the bench, who is currently named to start at lock. But Cotter's completely mad and might just play 80 minutes anyway.
Quite possibly.
It's hard to go past the Cowboys. I think they've just been they've put together a great month of football. The informed team in the comp, and they meet a team that's not the informed team in the comp. In fact, far from it. I think they put on points here. I think we might get the usual trading of pleasantries for 15 minutes, but I think once the Cowboys open up and get into the and let Tumblolo, Griffin Neem and co really get into their work off the bench as well, I think they score points. Drinkwater will be part of all of that, and man of the match again. And first try scorer, Valame. He's been red hot, and we know the defensive issues that the Manly edges have had lately. Barn.
Yeah, no, it's the edge defense for Manly for mine that has me thinking that the Cowboys win this one. I originally had the Cowboys winning well, but I just think the amount of players that they had playing on Wednesday night may lead to some fatigue at the back end of, or maybe even early in the second half of this game, and Manly might be able to score a couple of tries of their own. So expecting the forward packs to really go at it in this game. There's some big boys out there, and that should be pretty entertaining matchup in the middle of the field. I just think that obviously with the creativity of Drinkwater lately, and Dearden's running game has gone to a new level, and I expect them to create a couple more tries. And I think it might just come back to the 1-12 mark at the back end of this game, with the likes of maybe Garrick and Saab scoring a couple of tries late. Manly Cowboys 1-12. Drinkwater man of the match, and I'm going to go with Nanai first try scorer. Little half bomb on top of the probably Daly Cherry Evans head and jump over the top of him.
the main event is the Roosters hosting the Storm at the Sydney Cricket Ground. We've got Brandon Smith back on the bench. Jake Turpin starts at 9. So they're, after all the talk all season, Cheese is back to being a bench hooker. Nathan Brown keeps his 13 spot. Victor Radley's on an edge, and he'll be up against Nelson on the other edge. That's going to be a clash for the ages.
Absolutely.
Will Rawbrick served his HIA during the bye, so he's good to go. In fact, they look pretty much the same way they looked last time they were at the footy. Obviously, Munster, Grant, and Coates are on a 72-hour backup, so we'll see how much they want to risk them. Another interesting game. I'm going to say that Melbourne are in a far better spot, though, than the Roosters. They, I think the bye would have done them a world of good off the last time they saw him was against Penrith, wasn't it? Bye would have done them the world of good, and the Roosters, I'm not sure, still not sure where they're at. Teddy's going to be on tighter legs, although it's never been an issue in the past, obviously. I just think this might be a sort of 20-12 game, and I think Melbourne's ultimately effort and lack of spark from the Roosters' attack, we're just still yet to see it really click, is going to be the difference here. Man of the match, Jerome Hughes, first try scorer. We'll go with Will Warbrick out there. He's going all right.
Yeah, Roosters seem to always aim up for this match. They always do seem to give the Storm a run for their money. Tedesco, even in the first 2 games of the series this year, seems to have played quite well backing up off after Origin. It seems to give him a kick in the ass for some reason. I don't know what that's about, but
Points to
the
prove in the last few weeks, but
forward packs probably match up pretty evenly if they both play towards their best. The rotation for mine is where this game could change.
I should also
I think
mention,
there's
sorry, that Sawali should be on paper a big in for Borlo,
yeah, absolutely.
but carry on.
I just think there's a few blokes on these reserve interchange benches for both these sides that have some defensive issues in the likes of Wishart, Garlic, Sia Wong. Yet to see what Brandon Smith's going to come back, but he's not bad for missing a tackle here and there as well. So the middle of the field could open up. I expect both teams to probably score around the 20-point mark and it'd be close at the back end of this match. I could see the Roosters stealing this game, but I'm going to stick with the Storm 1-12. Man of the match, I'm going to go with I really liked what I saw out of Harry Grant on Wednesday night, but whether he can back that up and put the same performance, I'm leaning towards Harry Grant, but it wouldn't surprise me if it was Jerome Hughes. But we'll stick with Harry Grant, and first try score, I'm going with you. I'm going with Will Warbrick to score for the Melbourne side.
Match of the round. Warriors host the Sharks at Go Media Stadium. It's actually not a bad Sunday, Barn. Can you get out for the afternoon?
You're more than likely.
Excellent.
See what's going on.
Might sneak out and watch at least a game or two of this.
Oh, yeah, the Sharks are before that one.
Yeah, 2:00.
Yeah, 2:00.
So
Panthers after.
If you're listening, young Greg, you can come too if you like, our statistician. There you go.
I forgot to mention in the Roosters game, this kills off their season if they lose it as well. So
yeah.
do expect a do or die attitude from the Roosters in that game. So
anyway, more to the point, Sean Johnson apparently is expecting a baby, so
baby watch.
See what happens there again. Volkman is on standby. Dylan Walker has been named. No Bunty Afoa, with the bench being... he was on the extended bench last week. So there, they've got their full-strength forward pack. For the Sharks, Halman Ueli has been named on an extended bench. We'll keep an eye on that. But Williams, Colquhoun, Hazelton and Graham right now are still the bench. Not too many Origin concerns here. Barney, how confident are you?
No, I'm not confident. We saw what happened last time we played and we put on 20-odd points and let them get back into the game.
That's right.
For mine, obviously, that will be something that would have been hammered home for the entire week leading into this match. And hopefully this doesn't happen again. Both teams have got some good points in them. We've seen what the Warriors have done all season. Same with the Sharks. Sharks do have a few defensive issues, which has been highlighted. One week they're really good in defence, and then the next week they're not so good. So For mine, the forward pack's getting back to almost full strength, so that probably shores up a couple of those issues. I expect the Sharks to win this game by the end of the match. I was still not confident. I'm going to go 1-12. I just think there's probably a fraction more strike and consistency out of the centres from the Sharks, and that'll be a big area that they'll target the likes of Rocco Berry and Adam Pompey in this match through Ramian and Talakai, and I think you may see quite a few points come out of the Sharks centres in this game and wingers being able to expose that position in the field. Sharks 1-12. Talakai first try scorer, and I'm going to go with Braden. Sorry, yeah, Blake Brayley. I think he's been tremendous. The last two games that he's played, he's been close enough to man of the match. So I'm going to pick him for man of the match in this one. They get the tired forwards. If they can tire out the forwards for the Warriors team, he can have a big impact.
Coming back to New Zealand after what they served up last time there, albeit on the heavy 10, I think the Warriors. I'm gonna say it. Sharks haven't beaten anyone yet. Yeah, so
Yeah,
they get to play the Warriors now. I think the Warriors bash this forward pack, and
like 2 years.
I think that they really struggle with the size here, and I think they lay the platform to win this game in a grind. I think through that they're going to shut down a lot of the attacking flair that Nico would have obvious or otherwise provide. Man of the match will be Fanua Blake, owning it up front in the middle. 1-12, and first try scorer. He's found his stride now. My man Luke Metcalf. Let's stick solid there. Big game for both because they both need to make statements
Absolutely.
against each other, I would think, to really put their premiership credentials on the line. The Dolphins at KO Stadium host the Panthers, and from all reports, while not being named, Nathan Cleary's pretty close to playing should he get through the last training session. Yo, Martin, and Crichton and Tuo have all been named to back up, and Zach Hoskins on standby for Scott Sorensen. Branko Lee named on the extended Dolphins bench. I'm not sure if he really fits in here, but Hammer is still in the centres with Aitken, New Izaka on the wing, Nikarima still fullback. The rest is what we saw last week. Freshen up just at the right time for Penrith. I think there are Harrison Graham starting at
I
9.
was going to say, is that Harrison Graham's
is.
first game?
He is starting. We're going to see him step out for the Dolphins. They, though, will struggle here against Penrith. I think Penrith will go through the motions. 5-day turnaround for these Origin players. Cleary in's only going to be a bonus, and we've seen when Cleary's come back from those sort of extended breaks, he comes back in great fettle. So if he does play, I think he's going to get man of the match. First try scorer Tango, who is really finding his stride, and I'm actually going to say 13 plus. I think late points come in this game. It's going to take a long way to get there, but and I think the Dolphins pack will be up for the fight for a large chunk, but that flickering fuel light might just be red again by the end of this one.
Yeah, no, I like what you said there. I'm pretty much the same. I think that you'll see spurts where the Dolphins match or maybe even be better than the Penrith forward pack for 5 and 10 minute periods, which may lead to some points for the Dolphins, which uh, is really their only hope. But by the end of this game, I expect the Penrith pack to be quite dominant, especially in the last sort of 20 minutes, half an hour of this game, and run away with the game a 13 plus victory. I think they'd be crazy to play Cleary. I know he said he's fit and he wants to come back, but why wouldn't you just give him one more week realistically to be 100% certain?
Got to
But
start somewhere.
if he does have to start somewhere, obviously. Yeah. I'm going to go man of the match, Isaiah Yo. I think nice little 50-minute hit out on Wednesday. I think he'd be primed for this one, and he was very good on Wednesday, and he'd probably be even better on the backup this weekend. And I'm going to go first try scorer Isaac Tungo with the Panthers winning 13 plus.
Just so it's not a complete cop out, I'm going to make Liam Martin my man of the match. Should Cleary not be there? Eels and Titans wrap us up at Combank. Sunday night special. This would be on a Monday in years gone by.
Yep.
Gutho's back. He's at 1 again. Moses is at 7. Sean Russell goes to a wing. with Sivo obviously staying out of the win. Penasini, Simonson in the centres. Brendan Hands, I believe, could have the 9 spot for the rest of the season. I think there's some injury concerns there. And Ryan Madison goes back to the bench. The big three are all back for the Titans: Mo, Tino, and Fafita. Jaden Campbell back to 14, and AJ Brimson will be backing up as well. Points coming here, Barn?
I think so early. I think the game may settle down towards the back end of the game and peter out to sort of a bit of an ugly ending. But I think it comes down to whether it's 1 to 12 Parramatta or 13 plus, comes down to how many days the three forwards from the Titans have been on the beers. So if Tino and Dave and Mo got out there and give it a good lashing for a day or two, they may not pull up the best on Sunday. But realistically, I'd expect Parramatta to be quite comfortable. Especially once the ball gets out of the ruck and out into the edges. We've seen the defensive issues that the Titans continue to have, although it has been better in the last 3 or 4 weeks. Parramatta's got more than enough to expose some of these outside backs. Dejan Assi for mine has been fantastic the last 2 games he's played. And I'm actually going to tip him for man of the match in this game. I think he'll be very creative and cause some problems for the likes of Kelly and Shoop on the edges and Khan Pereira. So Eels, I'm going to stick to 1 to 12 just because I do know that Titans have got some points in them, and if their forward pack aims up, they'll match Parramatta. So, Dejan Assi, man of the match. Khan Pereira, I'm going to go first try scorer for the Titans because they do like to score the first try in a match, and Parramatta 1 to 12.
I am going with Para 1 to 12 too, but this is an absolute game Para can fuck up and have done in the past. I would be really nervous going if I was a Para's fan because there's going to be lots of ball movement, lots of weird shit happening, lots of complaining from the usual suspects along the way. But I think ultimately they get their season back on track here. Now getting pretty close to full strength as well.
They've really fixed up that rotation, I think, off the bench.
Yeah.
There's not as big a drop off anymore when their big boys come off.
I don't think it shouldn't be lost. I know he's had some injury concerns. It shouldn't be lost on how important Offengawa can be in that. He's genuinely a fantastic forward.
Yep. Sorry, and Madison and Davey, those guys are good enough to hold up a middle.
It is. It's going to be the Gutho show, and I'm going to make him man of the match after his big stint on Wednesday night. And before that, in fairness, he was one of the fullbacks in the competition. So by no means tongue in cheek there. I really want to go for Sean Lane first try scorer here, starting.
Yeah, right.
Now,
make sure you put $1 on it,
so I will,
even if you don't tip it.
But this is for the record, if I'm treating this as a Monday night game, then Makasivo at Combank will score first. So that's the way I'm going to go. Do you want a minute to think about some betting options?
No, I'll put mine together. Do you need a minute?
No, I'll just make it up as I go. Actually, I'm going to make it up right now. I'm going to go $25 on Makasivo first try.
Yep.
And $25 on Sean Lane first try. There you go.
Hedging your bets.
Yep.
All good. I've gone with 3 games I think that could end up as upsets at the moment with the way the betting stands. I've gone Roosters, Warriors, and Titans all head to head. That'll get you $16. So I'm going to put $10 on that just as an outside bet there. My big bet for the weekend is going to be Panthers and Cowboys both to win 13 plus. That'll get you $6. I'll have $30 on that. And then I'm going to have an anytime try scorer. I'm going to put 4 of them together from 4 different matches. Marzu, Cobbo, Mulatalo, and Warbrick in their respective matches to score a try at any time. That's worth $9.60. I'll have $10 on that.
Did my wacky thing come off last week?
No, you missed out by 1 or 2.
Damn it.
There was who was it?
I think it was someone obvious.
Chance didn't score and somebody else didn't score.
Anyway.
We both dropped money last week. We're now currently sitting on minus $610 for yourself, and I'm minus $499.50.
Damn your accountability, David. What's got you frothing this week?
Saturday for mine. The importance around some of these games on Saturday. The Broncos, as you said, if they do manage to trip over and let the Dogs in there, that could be a big, because it's so close in that top 6 or 7 positions. You drop one game, you could drop 4 or 5 spots on the ladder, and your season's in a different position. Cowboys could really push their claims for a top 8 spot, and it's just starting to get towards do or die areas for the Eagles. And very similar for the Roosters. The Storm could cement a spot here in the top 4, or the Roosters could. This is their season. If there's still mathematically a chance, but they lose this game. In all honesty, there's no chance of getting anywhere near the top 8. So.
Well, just a bit contrary. Sunday's got me frothing. I
Yeah, good.
I like the fact that we're getting on paper the game of the round there at 2:00, and we get finals. We get the blowtorch to one of those teams. We're going to find out where they both sit. It might
Yep.
be a cracker, and maybe they're both in order. We potentially see Nathan Cleary come back and what he brings back to Penrith, and then we get complete madness and chaos in the last game, and you know how much that tickles my fancy. So looking forward to it.
Absolutely.
Actually, this is an exciting week of a full week of footy for us to get our teeth stuck into next Monday.
Yeah, one game short, but
Oh yeah, there is two.
almost back.
Who are we
Yeah,
missing?
3 on the bye.
There
Dragons,
is two.
Rabbits, and Raiders all have the bye this weekend. So.
They can all use the bye, to be honest. So
Yeah.
real good,
Yes, they could.
real good timing for South, actually.
And probably the Raiders, really, because we've been looking for them to sort of flatline, and a week off might just freshen them up.
Correct. All right. Well, I'll let you freshen up, David, and we'll do this again Monday night over a beer at the Grey Gums Hotel, I suggest. Be good.
Enjoy getting your teeth in to show us your tips.
We're about to record that. You can find that on all good podcast networks and YouTube, of course. And we better plug PCTC if you're into the horse racing and want to take us on. The Spring Carnival tipping, what is it called? Tipping comp is the entry form's up now. Free and buy-in options. You can take us on. It runs. There's 3 barrier trials, and it runs all the way from August through Melbourne Cup Week. A lot of fun tipping in Sydney and Melbourne each and every race. And you get
all right, so we've got 3 practice rounds coming up, and then into the
3.
comp. Yeah.
Yeah, August.
So
5th.
3 weekends
2,
before
2,
we
and then August 5th.
2. Okay.
And that
Lovely.
runs, if you are so inclined, all the way through to the end of Cup Week. Sydney and Melbourne. It's a lot of fun. Bit of banter.
Absolutely,
Get to take on Arminia Cab and the other Pelicans in there. So we'll do that all again. Great supporters of the show, Gaz and everyone there. We'll be back Monday. See you guys. Take care. Enjoy the weekend, and we'll chat soon.
See ya.